Howdy Sketchies, it's Megan of Hello North, and today we're drawing Ballora, so let's draw. Okay, so we're going to be drawing Ballora today. This is an advanced tutorial, most definitely. We're drawing the whole human figure. Head, torso, body, legs, hands, feet. So if you're not comfortable with drawing the human figure, or you've never really attempted, that's okay. I would highly suggest that you still watch the video, because the more practice that you get, the better that you're going to be. Plus, I'm going to be sharing some tips on how to draw different parts of the body that I have learned over the years. So grab your pencils, grab some paper, and let's draw.
Alright guys, so first off I'm going to explain some of the tools that I'm going to be using for this Let's Draw. I am using my Prismacolor Color Erase in Rose. It might not show up very well, so I am going to be going back over it with a General's Layout Animation pencil. You can't really see it because I have used it so much, before I go back over it with an ink pen later. I just have a very standard eraser. As you can see, it has been kind of poked at and mutilated so far. So let's get started on drawing Ballora. So first off, the first thing that I always do when I draw a full human figure is I get my line of action, which is linked to the spine. So the position that we are doing is a very arching ballerina pose. So here's my line of action. This follows the spine. This is probably the single most important thing that you can put down when you are drawing the human figure. And then I like to move from top to bottom, and I like to go in stages so that way everything is on the same stage. So let's go ahead and put in her head. Now for the female form, the chest area will always be fairly large, and then you've got the mid section, which is the core, the body core. And then I kind of do almost a pear slash teardrop for her hips. And you can also just put a circle here. So for a female form, you're drawing 3 circles. The area where females normally bend, the hips, and the chest region. Alright, and then I'm going to move on to the legs. So for women, our hips and legs start on the side of our hips. They don't start kind of down here at the bottom and then jut out. They actually start a little bit higher. So I like to kind of put my starting point. Alright. Now for the female leg, here I'll kind of draw one over here. They can be divided into 3 shapes just like any other part of the body, plus the foot here. So women, the thigh comes out, and then it's kind of flat here in the back, and then we have our knee, and then our calves come out in the back, and then the shins at the front. And then we'll just draw in a simple foot here. So when you're drawing your layout for your legs, remember that it kind of goes in this S. So I like to use a kind of an elongated teardrop or a long oval, just so I can make sure that I get these proportions right. So we're going to put in our leg. And because Ballora is a ballerina, I'm going to be doing a ballerina pose. If you've ever looked at lots of pictures of dancers, they can twist their bodies and their legs in some very almost unnatural ways. So you really, whenever you're drawing a dancer, pay close attention to where the leg is, because like I said, they can really put their body in a completely different form, which you can kind of see here. It almost looks like her foot is going in a very odd direction, but for ballet, that's actually a very common pose. All right, so now let's do her other leg, and it's going to be coming off this direction. Now, it's okay to have lines kind of going everywhere, especially when you're starting out, because you need to know how the human figure works. And sometimes it can be very difficult to just pick up your pencil and then draw in a different direction. Now we're putting in her calf, and then this foot is coming to a point. All right, so now we have her legs in. Now let's do her arms. Okay, so dancers, their movements are very fluid, so that means that their arms are going to be very fluid, not really rigid and robotic. Then I'm just going to put in a circle up here for the hand, circle down here for the hand. I'm going to go in, put in my shoulders, my upper arm, which I use the same technique that I use for the legs. I do kind of a teardrop, and then the forearm, and actually her arm is actually coming more to a bend here, so there we go. And this arm, forearm, and her hand is coming down. All right, so we have the basic form for Ballora already out now. Now, what I was saying earlier about working in stages, it's a lot easier to keep up when you go from one stage of detail to the next stage to the next stage. And the reason why you do that is because when you're doing it, working it all as a illustration as a whole, you won't find out later that you have made the head too big or the body too large when you're working in stages. So let me sharpen my pencil real quick. Alright, let's go back in and really put in a lot of detail. So like I said, I'm going to start from the top and kind of work my way down. I like to put this crosshair in here so I know kind of the placement of the face, and it also helps get the frame of the face down, because your chin is going to end kind of down here. Right, then we're going to put in her neck. Right, and then I'm going to kind of block in her nose and her eyes and then her mouth. Alright, I'm going to draw her mouth kind of a little bit open. Okay, and then we're going to put her lips. Then I like to put a little dot here to kind of indicate that there is a chin that juts out right here. Let's put in her nose. Now don't forget, when you're drawing a nose, especially from a 3/4 angle, there is shading that goes in right underneath here, because that shows that this nose, this part right here, goes under, and it's a 3-dimensional shape. Right, so Ballora's eyes are closed. You rarely see them open, so just follow the eyelids, kind of put a few eyelashes, and do the same thing over here. Alright, now to show that that these are eye sockets, if you notice there's a little bit of a circle back here. I kind of like to follow that and just put in a little bit of a line. And this helps with the suggestion that their eyes are closed. And you can do that with making fairly... Alright, so you can make the eyes look like they're closed by putting in thick eyelashes and thick eyeliner. Okay, so let's move on to her eyebrows. Fairly thin, or what I would assume is fairly thin since she's a dancer. Dancers normally have very painted on faces. Alright, then I'm going to go on ahead and put in her ballerina bun, which is just kind of a C in the back. We'll add a little bit of her tiara, and then let's go on ahead and put her ear in. I like to draw ears just a C line or curve, then put a backwards C, and then go in like there, just to kind of say that, hey, that's the inside of an ear. Okay, now in a lot of the pictures that I saw, she kind of looked almost bald or had a nice undercut right here. So we're going to go from this chin right here, going to lightly draw up and draw her head, and then kind of come in, and then just kind of do, actually I made the bun way too close. Oops. So let's draw her head first. There we go. People don't normally have a very round head. They have a cone slash oval head. So that was a mistake on my part. Now we put in the bun. There we go. And then put in her tiara that she has sitting up front. Now the hairline, that's why it was looking so odd to me. The hairline still follows this curve that we have going on with the head. So, and she kind of has a little bit like a shaved sides, or what we can only assume is shaved since she's an animatronic. We're going to put in the top piece of her hair, and I'm just going to make it kind of zigzaggy to kind of give the feel that her hair is pulled back. And then she has 3 more little dots right there. Alright, so we have her head down. So let's get her neck, and then we're going to put in her shoulders. So these 2 circles are indications of shoulders. They go up, kind of goes down right here, because this one is back behind her. It's the shoulder blade is, or the collarbone is going to go down, and then the shoulders are going to go up. Now most dancers have a very lean, muscular body, so, and it's going to be very apparent in the arms. So over here we're going to go straight. I'm going to go down a little bit, curve in, and then go in to make the armpit. We have the elbow right here, so we'll come in a little bit. And then I'm going to go straight up because her arm is slightly bent. This line was straight, so for the forearm, I'm going to go out a little bit. Alright, let me sharpen my pencil. Okay, so let's do this arm. Now since she's turning to the side, we're going to be able to see her armpit right here. So we'll just go a little bit into the body, and then we're going to kind of repeat this so it's straight on top on the upper arm, and then it kind of dips down a little bit. Okay, kind kind of almost tapering off into the elbow. Then we're going to come in, and this upper part of the arm is going to go up, and then we're going to go straight down into the hand. I'm going to give a little bit more direction to this hand, and then we'll go up here, and this hand is kind of going in this direction. Alright, so let's go on ahead and get her hands done. Now, hands can be the bane of existence for almost any artist, as they are for me as well. The best practice that you can do is just to draw your own hands, but today I'm going off of a picture, so that makes it a lot easier than me trying to turn my hands in different directions. So I'm going to show you a little bit of how I make drawing hands a little bit easier for myself. So if you notice, I have kind of these diamond shaped shapes for my hands, and this helps me lay out. So right down here, this point is where the thumb is going to be. So I put it in a circle going into that direction because the thumb is a very fatty part of the hand. Okay? I'm going to curve it out. Alright, so there is our thumb. This part right here, especially for hand going this direction, this is the top part of the hand. This is going to be your knuckles right here. And then we're going to go off, I'm going to draw a line in the direction of my first finger. Okay, so here is the knuckle. I'm going to go up, down, and straight off. Finger kind of curves in like this, and then I'm going to repeat it on the other side. Alright, so we have kind of what you can see of the hand in my reference picture. You can't really see the other fingers, they're darkened out, but I am going to continue, kind of put an indication of them down here. So using my triangle still, I'm going to go here and just kind of draw in some impression of some fingers back there. Right, so let's go on ahead and let's do this hand. This hand's going to be a little bit more difficult because I am going to have to draw all the fingers. So using the same technique that I used over here, I'm going to put my circle for my thumb. I'm going to go out. Oops, that thumb didn't come out as well. There we go. Because it's kind of going, oh, I can't even do it with this hand. It's kind of, her hand is kind of doing this, right? This part is the top of my knuckles. So I have this first finger kind of just going straight down. Okay, then I'm going to go on ahead and I'm going to draw the pinky because it's kind of in the same position. I'm going to be continuing this down. Put a little bit of a bump there to show that there's a knuckle. And obviously the pinky is a smaller finger. Let me sharpen my pencil. Alright, always keep your pencil sharp. And then these two middle fingers are being bent down like this. So I'm going to put in an indication of a knuckle. And this is a trick that I learned very early on, especially when drawing anime, to almost draw these two fingers kind of as one finger and then just put in a line right here. So it makes it to where it gives the illusion that there's two fingers there, when in actuality I probably only had to draw one and then split them in half. Alright, so we have the top part of Ballora right now, so let's go into the torso now. Alright, continuing on to the torso, we have the chest or the breasts. Now when a ballerina or a dancer wears a leotard, they're compressed, so they're not going to be humongous. So we're just going to kind of draw a little bit of an indication that this is a female here. Just following this line that I had already made. And then the torso doesn't start right here. That would be very odd, and it wouldn't give you the feeling that there is dimension to it. So I'm going to be following this line and curving it down into her waist. And she kind of looks like she's very thin, and that is only because she is turned at a very strange angle, so it gives the appearance that she actually looks thinner than what she actually is. So we're going to come in, and then this part is the behind, the butt. We're going to come out a little bit, and I'm not going to finish putting in a whole lot of dark detail just because I have a tutu to draw. Right, so going over to this side, if you are a female and you bend, you will notice that the rib cage, which would theoretically be right about here, juts out a little bit, and it kind of gives a little bit of a bump. Same thing with dancers. So it's gonna come down from the breast, and it's gonna jut out a little bit, not a huge one unless she's super thin, and then we're gonna just kind of go down from here. And like I said, I still have a tutu to draw, so I'm not gonna draw a whole lot. So let me erase some of these lines right here so you can kind of see. There we go, looking fabulous. So I'm gonna draw kind of where my tutu is going to be, so I know exactly where I need to start my legs. So she's tilting her weight down, so this way. This is kind of where the tutu is going to be, not ending, but in the direction that it's going. Fabulous, right? And then we're going to kind of follow that same direction with this piece. All right, so let me erase all of this line work right here, and now I have my tutu. All right, and I can see that I made her legs a little bit too short, so I'm going to fix that as I'm drawing them in. So I'm going to continue my lines, and this is why it's so important that if you don't have a model, use a reference drawing, because her legs in this reference drawing right here look very different than what I know in my mind. Okay? All right. And then for the ankle, I like to draw a little bit of a bump. Then feet, if you look at your feet, they go from, they're really like a triangle with a box attached to it, and that's really how you need to draw feet. You don't go straight down and do it like that, like you did in kindergarten, because then there's no arch space for your foot. Okay, so we're gonna go down, and like I said, I have to make her legs a little bit longer than what I initially thought. Go down, circle, and then there we go. There is her foot. And just like me having to take this about less than a quarter inch down, I'm going to have to make this foot longer to show that it's on the same plane. So we're going to go down. All right. Okay, so this foot is turned out. So this is the heel, this is the point. We're going to take this and we're just going to continue it down because it's one nice, beautiful line there. We're going to take our heel and we're going to jut it out. And then this is where you can definitely see the arch of the foot. So you're going to come in right, fantastic. Now we have way more detail than what we did before, and if you see how important all of our planning was, we now have the base of Ballora, and now I'm just going to go in and I'm going to put in the details of her tutu and add some more details to her costume. Alright, I'm going to go on ahead and color Ballora before I do the line work on her. I'm just using a bunch of Copic markers here, if they will focus. Alright, I'm just going to do a rough coloring job of her just because I don't want to spend a whole lot of time doing a full color job. Alright, Ballora is all colored, all outlined. Like I said, I just did a really rough color job just because I really wanted to focus more on the body. So let's officially finish it with your signature. I hope that this tutorial I was mostly focusing on human figure, and I thought Ballora was an excellent example of, since she's a dancer and you can get some absolutely beautiful poses from just looking at dancers or photographs of dancers. If you decided to draw along or you tried your own Ballora human figure, you can share it with everyone with the hashtag Hello Let's Draw. I would love to see if you drew along or you decided to get something out of this tutorial. I would love to see it, and if you do it on Instagram and you use the hashtag Hello Let's Draw, I might even, I don't want to say critique because that sounds kind of hard, but that's kind of what it is. I will maybe give you some pointers or give you a super thumbs up for an awesome illustration. So if you would like to see a character drawn, whether that's from comic books, anime, cartoons, or video games, just put a comment down below. I would love to do more Let's Draws, and keep on sketching, guys.